Hey there. So I want to tell you about a couple of the battles that happen in the Maccabees and just sort of set the stage. I feel like a lot of the writing in all four books of the Maccabees has to do with the tactics and the battles that happened. There's a lot to go into there, probably more than is going to happen on this YouTube series. The military tactics of the Maccabees could be their own really long class. And let me stop right there for just a moment and just make clear really quickly that there are four books of Maccabees. They're all telling essentially the same story, but from different points of view and with different emphases. So, First Maccabees is a lot more of the history. Second Maccabees, for instance, it would seem at least parts of it have more of a liturgical use. Each one of them is a little bit different. So I want to tell you about the battles that happened. As you remember last time, Judas is now the leader of the Jewish revolt against the Seleucid Empire. The Seleucid Empire, the descendant of Alexander the Great. And Judas excels in doing guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is when there's a strike and retreat, when people are striking a conventional force from a position of hiding, or they're not wearing military uniforms, they're not, in some way they're not fighting conventional warfare. A quick note that conventional warfare at this time really included lines of people with a shield and a sword or a spear, and they would stand really close together. So it was almost like a football game where you have just a lot of lines pushing back and forth on each other. This is one of the reasons that Antiochus in Maccabees brings in all of these elephants, because one way to disrupt these lines, of course, is to charge some elephants right through them. One story in particular of note in the book of Maccabees, in one of these battles, is a story of Judas' younger brother Eleazar. He's the youngest of all these brothers. Eleazar we know from 3rd Maccabees, right before this battle, this large battle-defining battle with Antiochus. Eleazar is reading from the Mishnah to the crowd, to the soldiers. So he's kind of getting them pumped up by essentially reading to them from the Bible. He then goes out into battle. Everybody scatters pretty quickly. There's elephants all over the place. There's arrows. There's swords. There's screaming. You're seeing people dying and bleeding or getting hacked up here and there. He looks around at all the different elephants, and he sees an elephant with a lot of extra adornment, and he figures that Antiochus must be on that elephant. So he stages this really daring attempt of running underneath the elephant and just stabbing it in the chest and the belly as often as he can. He kills the elephant. The elephant immediately falls upon him and he dies. But he's remembered for this act of valor. Side note, Antiochus was not on that elephant. It just happened to be an elephant with some extra armor on it. That, though, still has kind of put Eleazar in history as a brave soldier, as somebody who returned to the law right before battle, who was trying to rouse the troops. So Judas loses his brother, but he wins the battle. He keeps pushing. They finally push out the Seleucids, and then we will get to what happens next, which is where Hanukkah comes from.